John Furlong is here, who currently holds a position with the Whitecaps FC, but former Vanok CEO. Where were you, John, and what was going on with Vanok 30 days out from our games?
Well, 30 days out from ours, we were in the unique position of having been confronted probably by the worst possible challenge that an organizing committee could face at this stage. We had got to this stage with the respect of the world behind us, and we were thinking we are now going to breeze in to deliver the games. The world is coming. There's a lot of excitement. But when we woke up on the 1st of January 2010, there was no snow on Cypress Mountain, and
14 degrees.
14 degrees and getting warmer, and no sign of any snow coming, and 90 years of history thrown out the window. And so we had to solve that problem or be the only organizing committee in history to fail to deliver an event at the Olympics. It was never going to happen, but the human suffering and human effort and challenge, that's when we discovered the power of the blue jacket, and we put a plan together and went off. And you know, we talk about putting snow on Cypress Mountain. It sounds a little bit like putting snow on a soccer field. It was like we had to cover a mountain with snow. It's a monster challenge. The people that went up there, who came from all over the country, put shovels in their hands. They never went home. They stayed up there. They slept up there. It was all about making sure that Canada wouldn't be embarrassed. And as it turned out, Cyprus was very generous to Canada. We won a lot of medals up there. So, but it was a metaphor for the games that followed. It was a metaphor for the character of Canada and the spirit, and it gave the Canadian public a real sense of pride in their own country. And it set off a pretty fantastic period in our own history. So.
It certainly did, but I remember leading up to the games, security was a huge concern. And luckily, we had the most uneventful Olympic Games when it came to security of athletes, security of fans who attended all of these great venues. Looking at Sochi, what's your view, as it seems terrorist attacks, suicide bombers, 2 in the last week, they're escalating. How does the IOC address something like that this close to
Well, the
games?
IOC has the same guarantee from Russia that it had from Canada. The Olympics will be secured, so they've had to develop a plan that will secure Sochi the way it needs to be for the Olympics. The design of the venue program in Sochi is impressive. So, you know, for the athletes, it'll be a very good environment to compete in, I think, because all the venues are clustered together and so on. But Sochi is 145 kilometers long. And Sochi, you know, is in a unique part of the world, and to where we were here in Canada. So they've just had to design a plan, and I think that the Russians will prove to be up to the challenge. They'll do a good job, and they'll secure that area. It's a different part of the world, but their job was the same as ours. The games have to be delivered with the right environment, the right kind of security, and you know, it's obviously troubling to hear about these stories, but I believe that they will deliver on their promise to secure the games, and that all of the things that, you know, we've been led to believe about Russia will turn out to be overwhelmed by the fact that what you're about to see in Russia will be spectacular.
And we kind of had a similar lead up to the games in Beijing when people were talking about air quality and the pollution and the wall that was built that shunned the poor so to make room for the Olympic Games. Once the games began, it was just this IOC
spectacle. And for 7 years, all you've heard is what the organizing committee is planning to do. They're talking plans, test events, and they've really got to do nothing yet. So there's always this talk about what ifs, and you know, so we were plagued with it too. I mean, we spent 7 years answering questions about things that probably were never going to come to pass, but until you actually have the opening ceremonies, the torch arrives in your country, it's really hard to convince the local population, the public, that what's about to happen in your country is profoundly positive.
Right.
It then has a life of its own. And in our situation, our goal and our plan was that the Canadian public would take ownership of the games, that they would in fact be the difference makers. And they took on their responsibility and embraced the world and created this atmosphere in Vancouver, which was quite unprecedented. So, you know, in Russia, they will have this too. They'll have this great environment. But for up to now, all they've been done is they're planning and building and dealing with issues and stuff like that. Because what else are they going to do? But soon, that flame will arrive and everything will start to change. And what you see on that little black box on TV around the world will be very impressive. The Russians will be very proud. The stakes are obviously very high. And
most importantly, though, how will our men's hockey team do?
Well, just watching the announcement of that team, there's more pressure on that team than on the Prime Minister. I mean, this is, you know, but as you saw from Steve Yzerman's announcement, is that hockey has now become more competitive all over the world. It's, you know, there's a ferocity in that game, and everyone wants to beat Canada. So while that team is going over there, very well prepared, very well coached, they're going into an environment where Russia wants to win that gold medal as badly as we do. So it'll be fantastic competition if we can go in there and win win that gold medal, it will be stunning to achieve that, because of the fact that we're playing in Russia. We're not playing here in Vancouver. And even here, it took everything we had and more to win the gold medal on the last day of the Olympics.
The motivated Russians to win gold on home ice. Thank you. Former Vanoc CEO John Furlong with us in the BT studios. Appreciate it. We'll be back in a moment. It's 8:35.